Okay, number one, we're going to solve the system by substitution. The top equation is equation 1. Bottom equation is equation 2. Do you already have x equals something or y equals something? Are one of the equations already solved for one of the variables? In equation 1, x and y are on the same side. Equation 2, x and y are also on the same side. So no, you don't already have x or y solved for. And so what you should do is look for the coefficient of 1. Do one of the variables have a coefficient of 1? This has a coefficient of 6. This term has a coefficient of 3. This term has a coefficient of 2. This term right here, though, this y term in the second equation, does have a coefficient of positive 1. And so this is the one that would be the easiest to solve for. So let's copy that second equation down. 2x plus y equal 18. And solve for y. So move the 2x to the other side by subtraction. That way those 2x's cancel and y equals 18 minus 2x. So now you have solved for y. In the second equation, you have 18 minus 2x. That's equal to y. So take this and plug it into the other equation. This was equation 2, so plug it into equation 1. Okay, equation 1 was 6x plus 3y equals 54. And you are taking what y is and plugging it in for y right there. Okay, so that's going to give you 6x plus 3 times y, and y is this, 18 minus 2x equal 54. Okay, now you finish solving for y and determine what your solution is. Number 2, you have equation 1 and equation 2, and they both say y equals 4x minus 1 and y equals 2x minus 5. We want to solve by substitution. So what we can do here is, in the first equation, if y equals 4x minus 1, well, I'm just going to plug it into the other equation for y. I'm just going to plug it in right there. And so my second equation will be not y, but what y is in the first equation, which is 4x minus 1, equal to 2x minus 5. Right? Do you see how this 4x minus 1, that is what y is in the first equation, and this 2x minus 5, that's what y is in the second equation. So basically, you are setting the equations equal to each other because both sides are equal to y. So now you have an equation with the variable on both sides. You need to get the x on one side. So let's move the 2x to the left side. That way your x term will be positive. Those 2x's will cancel. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Bring the minus 1 down, bring the equal sign down, and bring this negative 5 down, right? It's a negative 5. Because your x terms on the left, get the numbers on the right side by adding 1. That way those 1's will cancel, and 2x equals negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Solve for x by dividing both sides by 2. And so x equals negative 2, right? X equals negative 2. So how do you get y? Well, you just plug it into one of these equations. How about we plug it into equation 1? Okay, I'm going to copy equation 1 over here. Equation 1 was y equals 4x minus 1. I now have what x is. X is negative 2. So I'm going to take negative 2. I'm going to plug it in right there for x. So y equals 4 times x, or times negative 2 minus 1. So y equals, what's 4 times negative 2? That's negative 8, right? Still got to subtract 1. So y equals negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. Okay, so I have an x, negative 2. I have a y, negative 9. Last step is to write this as the solution, negative 2, negative 9, and put it in parentheses. Okay, number 3, solve by substitution. You have equation 1 and equation 2. X and y are not solved for in equation 1 or equation 2. So you need to look for, do you have a coefficient of 1 somewhere? And that will be this term right here, right? That has a coefficient of positive 1. And so in the first equation, I would copy that down, x minus 3y equal negative 2, and I would solve for x, since x has a coefficient of 1. So move the 3y to the other side by addition. That way those 3y's will cancel, right? Negative 3y plus 3y. Those are gone, and so you have x equals negative 2 plus 3y. Okay, you can take this and plug it into the second equation. Here's the second equation. Copy it down over here. Second equation is 10x plus 8y equal negative 20. And I'm going to take what x is and plug it in for x right here. So I have 10 times x, and x is negative 2 plus 3y. Close the parenthesis. Bring the plus 8y down, bring the equal sign down, bring the negative 20 down. From this point, you have an equation with one variable. Distribute the 10, then combine like terms, get the variable on one side, numbers on the other, and solve for y. Once you have y, then plug it back into this equation to solve for x. Once you have your x and your y, then you're ready to write your xy ordered pair solution.